Hope you're all having a great day. We certainly are. Happy enough and lucky enough to have Jeff Meckler in studio. Of course, he's the CEO. Indaptus Therapeutics, their ticker symbol is INDP. 125 million TV homes in the U.S. Of course, let's not forget American Forces Network in 175 countries and all the ships at sea. Big Biz Show on the air. Big hello to the Day Trader Trio. Jeffrey, talk to us about the actual technology. What does it do, and where are you at in terms of the arc of the story with the FDA?
Great. So we are actually in the clinic, and the exciting point for us in the time this year is a big point of the arc. Is in the fall, the fourth quarter, we signed a deal with BeiGene. BeiGene makes a product called a PD-1, programmed cell death. The #1 selling drug in the world is Keytruda. It's a PD-1 by Merck, $30 billion. This is the #1 cancer therapy. What we have found in our preclinical work is when you give a decoy therapeutic and a PD-1 in mice, we saw 80 to 100% eradication. That means the tumors were completely clear. Wow. It's incredible. Now, these are mice and these aren't humans. But the important thing for us was partnering with BeiGene to then, we've now finished most of our initial safety data. We can now do a partnering where we put this immune agonist together with a PD-1 and see what it will do in humans.
Amazing.
And it's a safety study, so the whole goal is to make sure it's safe.
Of course.
But if we give it to 20 or 30 patients and we're doing it in an area that PD-1s don't work in, and we see any responses, this is very meaningful.
How is it administered?
This is an IV.
Okay.
So what we do is we engineer the bacteria, we kill it, we process it. It's in a little vial. It's put in an IV bag. It's about an hour infusion, and it's given once a week.
With respect to addressable market, which is a horrible thing to talk about, but still it's a business metric for you guys.
Yeah.
Talk about addressable market in the U.S. and also worldwide.
So worldwide, the immuno-oncology market alone is over 100 billion.
Wow.
100 billion. 100 billion.
Wow.
10,000 million.
Wow. And so that's the market for us in immuno-oncology. Now, the other thing is this technology could work in antivirals. Today, we just announced we got a whole bunch of patents for antiviral work, both in HIV and in hepatitis B. And so we're building that IP estate around. But this could work in vaccines, it could work in antivirals. Our first foray is oncology. But if you start adding up what is the antiviral market, what
so
is...
now you got a vertical market.
It's huge.
How hard is it to stay in your lane, though? Yeah, that's a good point. You see all of these, and not saying that you shouldn't, because thank God you're thinking about other verticals you can get into, but is it kind of hard to keep your eye on that first carrot and then... Oh, I thought you were talking about the Ohio State versus the Browns and versus the Guardians. That's another show that he's coming in for.
So it's actually really easy. First of all, going into advanced cancer is the easiest from a development standpoint. The FDA, the patients we're going after are really sick. They have no other options. Okay. Whereas you go into vaccines or antivirals, you start out with a lot more toxicology work, a lot more early development work. So it's easy to stay in the lane and stay focused on oncology and prove the technology. Our goal actually is to license the other technologies out. Okay. Building an antiviral company or building vaccines, this requires infrastructure that it wouldn't make sense. Someone who's better funded and has that infrastructure and capability. We just need to prove it can work. When you talk about your history with Pfizer, you have to bring up companies like Merck as well, SmithKline. Do you start talking to these guys now at these conferences in terms of okay, we're at the 8-yard line at this date coming up after we go through efficacy, we go through the NDA. At what point do you start thinking in terms of commercialization? Well, you really... Or do you do that from the very beginning? You do that from the very beginning. When you look at how Pfizer's, Merck's, and all these companies, when the product, before it's even in the clinic, there is a target product profile. You look at the addressable market, you look at what the competitors could be, you look at what the pricing could be, you look at what the regulatory approval process will look like. All of that is done, and it's constantly updated as you're moving along. That's why you see companies, 1 year they're all excited about a certain molecule or a program, and 2 years later it's off the chart. And the reason is the world shifted, the data came out differently, whatever. You want to keep in contact with these companies, and it's a communication, because at some point data pops. Let's say we administer it, and by the end of the year we have data in X number of patients. If I have responses in more than one,
because they don't want to be there late either, right?
No, they want to be there at the point where the certainty has changed, but there's still economic value.
What is a partnership? I've seen a number of companies that do partnerships pre-NDA with some of these companies. What's the strategy there? And I know you're a CEO of a public company, you can't let on to stuff like that. And I'm not dog whistling anything. It's a sincere question. What's the strategy there?
So when you're the little company, and I'll talk more from when I was at Pfizer and did acquisitions and licensing. You're the little company, and you look at, what do I need to do to get to the next level or next series of levels? And then you weigh the risks of that and the dilution, the cost of capital. And that's what you're kind of measuring against what a larger company who can, for Pfizer to write a check for $100 million against a, $40, $50 billion income line, it's really small. Sure. For a company that has a market cap of $100 million, it's a game changing. And for the investors, the CEOs are sitting there looking at it going, I can take a licensing deal, the stock will go up, we can do other things, or I can gamble again. And by the way, I've worked with companies and been involved with things where you turn the card over and you got to do another phase 3 trial, and there's another $200 million, and it changes it. It's a risk versus reward.
Yeah, I want to have you back on the show because we, like Mike said, we'd have you for a while. Real quickly, just in 30 seconds, what are you looking most forward to this year?
The combination data. Our combo study should start very soon, and by the end of the year, we should have some data on it.
Jeff Meckler, the CEO of Indaptus Therapeutics, the first of many more visits with us, we hope. Of course, their ticker symbol is INDP. Jeff, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, keep it here. Lots more to come with the Big Biz Show after this.